isn't just fought on battlefields, it's also waged in the human mind. Today, we'll explore how war and conflict affect the psychology of those who experience it, from soldiers and civilians to entire societies. This exploration will cover topics such as trauma, combat stress, moral injury, and the collective societal impact of war. PTSD is a mental health condition triggered by witnessing or experiencing traumatic events in combat. Symptoms include flashbacks, nightmares, anxiety, and emotional numbness. Veterans from World War II, Vietnam, and recent conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan have shared stories of their struggles with PTSD, illustrating the profound and lasting impact of war on mental health. High-intensity situations like firefights or bombings can cause immediate psychological stress responses, such as increased heart rate and hypervigilance. During World War I, this was recognized as shell shock. The psychological toll of war can leave long-lasting mental scars on soldiers, often persisting for decades. Moral injury occurs when soldiers are forced to violate their own ethical beliefs during combat, leading to guilt, shame, and depression. Stories of soldiers making life-or-death decisions under pressure, sometimes killing civilians by accident or following orders they later regret, highlight the internal conflict that arises when actions during war don't align with personal morals or societal norms. Unlike PTSD, moral injury can be a hidden burden lasting long after soldiers return from war. Civilians caught in war zones often experience severe trauma, especially when homes and communities are destroyed or loved ones are lost. The psychological toll on civilians in conflicts like the Syrian Civil War or the Vietnam War is profound, as they live in constant fear and uncertainty. Refugees forcibly fleeing their homes face emotional and psychological stress. Adjusting to new environments can exacerbate feelings of isolation, depression, and PTSD. War affects not only soldiers, but also innocent bystanders, leaving deep psychological scars on civilians and refugees for generations. During war, psychological mechanisms often dehumanize the enemy, making it easier to justify violence and destruction. For example, World War II propaganda depicted enemies as monstrous or subhuman. Soldiers often develop intense bonds with their comrades, creating a band of brothers effect that provides psychological support during combat. This loyalty can sometimes lead to destructive group behavior, where moral or ethical concerns are overshadowed by group survival instincts. Group dynamics can drive both positive, camaraderie, and negative, dehumanization, psychological effects during wartime. Wars can leave lasting psychological effects on societies, leading to generational trauma, where children of war survivors exhibit signs of psychological distress. Descendants of Holocaust survivors, or those who lived through wars in the Balkans, show elevated rates of anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Societies experiencing prolonged conflict may begin to see violence as normal, leading to long-term social and psychological consequences. For example, post-war trauma in nations like Afghanistan, where multiple generations have grown up in conflict, illustrates how the psychological effects of war extend beyond the battlefield. War affects the human mind in profound and often devastating ways, from the trauma faced by soldiers and civilians to the long-lasting impact on entire societies. If you found this exploration of war's psychological toll insightful, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into the unseen aspects of history. Let us know in the comments how war has affected the mental health of people in your region or culture. Consider exploring related topics in future videos, such as Mental health in the military today, or healing from generational trauma